Hello, in this video I'm going to give you a little peek into my online course, which has a exercise lesson. So I'm going to give you the first half of that lesson in this video, and it's going to focus on exercise for beginners or anyone that just wants to get back to the basics and learn exactly what you're supposed to do without any of the extra stuff that's not necessary. So if you're interested in that, then stay tuned. Welcome to lesson 3. This is the lesson about exercise. So exercise is also right up there with sleep and nutrition when it comes to physical health. So I'm going to go over the basics of exercise because it's kind of conflicting. There's a lot of conflicting information out there, and it really depends on what system of health that you are studying. I know that there's a lot of different things that they recommend, and what really makes a difference is to see what works for you, because you might have a certain body type that doesn't do well with a certain type of exercise, things like that. So I'm just going to go over the basics, and these are going to be some general guidelines to start with, and I'm also going to give some suggestions on different forms of exercise that will work for most people. All right, so the 4 to 5 days a week and 30 minutes a day recommendation is pretty accurate. I would definitely say that there's not that many people that shouldn't abide by these guidelines. I wouldn't beat yourself up about them to be strict about them, because if you do 3 days a week, that's not bad either. There's a lot of people that don't exercise even that much. But I wouldn't just do it once a week or even twice, especially if you're only doing a few minutes, because that's not going to be enough. I think there's a tipping point where it becomes enough. If you're going to do only 2 to 3 days a week, I would recommend doing something that takes more time, a couple of hours at least, and something that is, it's something that you're gonna do. Like, if don't get hooked on the idea of needing to do an exercise just because it's recommended. I would always also check to make sure that this is something that you can stick with, because you can have an affinity for something like dancing, and even though dancing is not what a lot of, if you go to a gym, they're not going to recommend that you dance. But if that's the only thing that you love to do, by all means, go for it. Do that 4 days a week, 30 minutes a day, and you're fine. All right, so that being said, I'm going to move on to the suggestions, and I'm going to go through each one and explain the benefits of each. So the first one here is yoga. And I like to include this one in all of the areas that I teach, because my focus is holistic health. This is one of the ones that kind of helps the body, mind, and the soul. It's obviously good for the body because it helps you with flexibility, and then it also, stretching your muscles, getting your joints worked. It's also good for your mind, because why yoga is amazing is because you're supposed to, the correct way to do it is to take a full breath for each move. So when you start the move, you inhale, and then you hold the move, and then you exhale, and then you move on to the next move. So yoga is good for the mind. It's almost like meditation for the body. It's the equivalent of meditation for the body. And it's also good for your soul, because anything that's good for your body and your mind is also good for your soul. So yoga is one of those things that I would highly recommend to everyone, no matter what your skill level is. Really, you can start as a beginner. There are so many yoga moves that are simple, that are easy, and that are not strenuous. There's a lot of yoga moves that are good to do before bed that are really just stretching. So think of yoga as this way. If you don't want to try all those, turning your body into a pretzel, if you don't want to do anything like that, you don't have to. Like, really, all you have to do is stretch your muscles and hold your pose and breathe. Do a full inhalation and a full exhalation. So that's really the essence of yoga. So moving on to the next one, we have stretching, and it's kind of related to yoga, but it can be its own separate thing. Stretching is something that all of the fitness trainers will recommend that you do before working out, and I do as well. So it's something that you can even just do this every day and a couple other things on this list, and I think you'd be good. Because you might have seen animals. Animals do this all the time, especially cats. They stretch before they, go about their day. Once they take a nap, they get up and stretch. This is a great thing for humans to do as well in the morning and at night. Maybe even, you know, here and there in the middle of your day. Sports, I had to put this on the list because there's so many people that play sports, and if you are a athlete, you most likely don't need to do anything else because part of your training is going to be stretching. Most likely you do weightlifting as well, or some type of, you know, to get your muscles. So that's kind of all included. Sports is one of those things where it's really everything. Everything's all in there. So if you have a sport that you love, that's a great thing to do. And this is also something that you will continue to do. You won't need to be talked into it because you love it. So any type of exercise that you love always takes priority. Bicycling, this is one that's fun and also good for you. So you're getting all sorts of things. You're getting the sunlight, you're getting the exercise, you're getting fresh air, you're probably bicycling with other people. If not, even doing it by yourself is great. Being out in nature, if you can exercise out in nature, that's just so much better than exercising indoors. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that need to go to a gym because they might live in a place where they can't be out in nature for some reason. So you do what you have to do, but if it's possible, exercising outside is the best. So the next one here is Qigong, and this kind of goes hand in hand with yoga. This is one of those exercises that's good for anybody. Even elderly people can do this because maybe not this particular pose in this picture, but there's really the basis of Qigong is working with the energy and your breath. And there are a lot of benefits to this as well, physical, mental, and spiritual benefits. So this is one of those exercises that I would highly recommend to you, especially if you have an interest in spirituality, because it's, like I said, I mean, you're working with energy, so it's not just a physical act, and that is why Qigong is amazing. So the next one on this list is walking and hiking. So walking is something that I highly recommend that everybody do. This is one of the most common exercises, one of the most easiest exercises because it doesn't involve any money. You can do it outside, you can do it inside if you have a treadmill. And the difference between walking is on a straight level area, usually down the street, on a sidewalk. Um, and hiking usually involves hills. Hiking is something that you do, if you live in a natural area like where there's a state park or a nature preserve or mountains or something like that. And I would recommend that for more advanced people. I would always, if you're new to exercise anyway, I would always suggest starting with walking, getting yourself used to walking because that's something you wouldn't think it would be like something you have to get used to. But if you go for a walk when you haven't gone for a walk in a while, you will notice that you might get out of breath. Um, you can tell that you haven't done it. You can go longer and have an easier time with it the longer you do it. So I would always recommend building yourself up, maybe go for 10 minutes one day and then maybe 20 minutes the next day and work yourself up, adding like 5 minutes to each day. And then when you feel comfortable, you can start hiking, and that's something that's a little more physically demanding. If you are enjoying this video and want to learn more, the rest of this lesson is included in my online course, Holistic Lifestyle Basics. In this course, you will learn how to align your body, mind, and soul with nature, resulting in optimal health physically, mentally, and spiritually. The link is down below in the description, and I really hope that I can get the opportunity to guide you on your new holistic lifestyle journey.